Hello fellow time travelers, Matt from Space Mole Games here, and this is how to play Chronofiends. Chronofiends is a cooperative strategy game for 1 to 4 players. You play as one of 6 time-touched aliens who are trapped on an alien space station. The station is breaking down, other aliens are rioting all over the place, and most importantly, you're all trapped in a time loop. The loop is shrinking, and creatures called Chronofiends are stalking around, trying to consume what little time you have left. The first thing you're going to do is choose which scenario you want to play through and lay out the corridors according to the included map. There are 6 of these scenarios in the base scenario guide, and each one has a different initial layout and goals you need to accomplish to close the loop. We've got this game set up for the tutorial scenario, 0 Hour. Each scenario requires us to dig through these 4 decks, labeled Causality, Prescience, Locality, and Relativity. 0 Hour requires us to find the Foresight array from the Galley in the Locality deck, the Colokind CPU from the server room in Prescience, and Archduke Terex from fuel storage in Relativity. Then we need to bring all 3 of those things to the engine room in the Causality deck and perform a collective 60-time hack action involving every player who can get to that room. Every scenario is going to require us finding a specific room from each of the 4 decks and collecting boost tokens from some of those rooms to bring to other rooms and perform some capstone task to win the game. As you'd expect, this scenario's task is the simplest. Then we lay out the time track. We've got this set up for 3 players for the purposes of this video, so our top tile is the one that gives us 42 minutes. Then each player selects a character to play as. Each one has a totally different power set. Take a moment to look through them before you pick. So who goes first? The next player to go is determined by whoever has the most time left on the time track. At the start of the game, that's a tie between everyone, including the Chronofiends. That means players can choose from among the tied players, including the Chronofiends. We're going to start with Petra. To start with, the detention facility is connected to 4 rooms around it, so you can go to any of these rooms. We're going to move into this room, which brings us to step 2, resolving the room. This room has a Colokind in it, and we can either spend 5 time fighting him and knocking him out, or we can spend 7 time to hack him and reprogram him into helping us out. Most rooms will have a choice like this, and you'll always have to choose exactly one of them in order to resolve it. We're going to choose to reprogram the Colokind, spending 7 time, and moving on to step 3, rewards. So we get 3 rewards for this. First, we've resolved the room, which puts a resolve token in the room. That Colokind isn't in there causing problems anymore, and future movement during this loop will only cost 1 time to move through the room. Then, we take the ally token the room says we get, which will represent the Colokind we just reprogrammed. This ally gives us a discount of 1 time for every room we have to resolve for the rest of the loop. Finally, we learned a little something about Colokinds by doing that. It cost us 7 time, which gives us 1 skill point. This gives us a discount of 1 time for every hack we do for the rest of the game. And that's our whole turn. Enter a room, spend the resolve time, and take your rewards. Then it's the next player's turn. We're going to take Eulalia out next. For Eulalia's turn, we can go into one of these rooms and resolve it the same way. But I'm going to go through the room Petra just resolved, and out through this door to discover a new room. We know we're allowed to do that because of the plus sign on this door. That symbol means we're allowed to add a new room to this door, provided there isn't one already there. When adding a new room, we can choose the top tile from any of the 4 decks. Each deck has its own rewards theme. Locality helps you build your map. Relativity helps you move around. Prescience builds up extra skill points, and Causality helps you manipulate your time. So you can use that to help decide which deck you want to go through in the moment. We need to go through all 4 at some point anyway, so we're going to pick Locality to help speed that along. In each deck, there are 7 rooms. 1 is the room you need, 5 are rooms you don't need, but offer their own bonuses, and 1 is a Chronofiend. If you draw the Chronofiend, add another Chronofiend token from the pile into that room and stay in the room you came from. This costs you no time, so you'll continue your turn as normal. Otherwise, you'll resolve the room the way we just did in the previous turn. In this case, we got the bridge. It's a big one, costing 19 time regardless of which choice we take. We can either use our talk skill to talk Captain Vegas into joining us. She's a good bonus, giving us a -3 discount to all of our resolve rooms. The other option is to beat up all these Heartseekers and look at the station maps. revealing 2 rooms to us. Both are pretty appealing, but we'll take the 2 room reveals so I can show you how that works. 19 time is the biggest cost rooms get to, so it seems like a good time to look at our power set. Eulalia has a power called Echoes from the Future, which allows him to get help from a future version of himself to resolve 1 room per loop for half the time. 19 is an odd number, of course, but the manual says we should round up for these cases. So that brings the resolve time down to 10. We have no skill points yet, and although we could have worked with Petra's player to do a trade action when we pass through her room and get her ally token, we didn't do that. So it looks like it's going to be 10 time, plus the 1 we spent moving through Petra's room. We move 11 spaces down the time track, put the resolve token into the room, and take our skill points. Because this room took more than 8 time, we actually gained 2 skill points instead of just 1. And because we are fighting Hearthseekers, that's where the skill points go, into the Hearthseeker skill. And now we get to reveal 2 rooms and place them on the board. The first one is a Chronofiend. We're just gonna place that way over here, where it can't bother us for a while. We do still have to line up the entryway with an open plus sign, which will block off that avenue for exploration, but we've got plenty of those spaces, so we're not too worried. Place a Chronofiend from the pile into that room, and now we've got 3 of those monsters running around the board. Yikes. Our next one is Temporal Mechanics. Still no galley, but still useful, so we're going to put that one nearby. We can't add anything to the bridge since it has no open plus sign, but Petra's corridor still has an opening on the other side, so we'll put it there. That brings us to Omni's turn. Omni is going to go into this Temporal Mechanics room and use it. You can see that it gives us 2 options, both costing 9 time, and neither one uses any of our skill points. That's fine since Omni doesn't have any yet. One of the options is to move a Chronofiend by 1 space. That's clutch in certain circumstances, but pretty niche otherwise. So let's go with the other option and place a Chronomote. What these do is stop a Chronofiend cold. If they're going to move and hit one of these, they just don't get to move. Pretty useful if you can place them well. I'm going to place it up here, next to this Chronofiend. That costs 9 time and didn't use any skills, so we don't gain any skills from that. However, the Temporal Mechanics room gives us all 1 bonus skill point, which we can put anywhere we want. And Eulalia has the Hearthseekers, so let's put it on the Leosians. And now that all 3 players have gone, the Chronofiends are the only ones left at the top, so it's their turn. When we roll the die, we get a 8. This Chronofiend will move directly into this corridor here. This one will bump into the Chronomote, so yay for us to putting that there. And this one will go straight off the board, but we can't get rid of them that easily. Space doesn't work the same way for them as it does for us. This one will wrap all around the edges of the paradox to come back on the other side and end up here. Then the Chronofiends move down by 6 on the time track, and you can see that that's less time than anybody else spent, which means they go again. Now, there's a small risk of them hitting us. If they move into your room at any point, you get sent back to the detention facility, and we lose 1 tile from the time track. You definitely want to avoid that as much as possible. And that's it. That's what each turn is going to look like, more or less. Different risks, different rewards, but that same basic gameplay loop. Let's fast forward to the end of the loop and see what happens there. Now we've played for a few more turns, gained a bunch of cool stuff, and we're almost at the end. 10 time isn't really enough to handle most of the rooms in the deck, so the characters have the option to meditate or study up during that time. Players spend all their leftover time and gain 1 skill point for every 2 times spent. Again, we round up. Eulalia has 9 time left. We round that up to 10. Eulalia gets 5 skill points. We're going to put that in the Cadian time. We have 3 skills that are up pretty high. We'll pick Cadian because why not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that uses up all of Eulalia's time. Then Petra gets 3 skill points. 1, 2, 3. And before Omni can take her last skill point, the Chronofiends get to go one more time. Now that everybody's out of time, including the Chronofiends, the loop resets and starts over. Here's how that works. All of these resolve tokens we worked so hard to place go back in the pile. We haven't cleared those yet. All of these boosts that have been letting us breeze through the last couple of rooms, also gone. We haven't earned them. Gets to hold on to exactly one of them though. That's one of his special powers. Everybody moves back to the detention facility to try it again. We have to remove the top tile from the time track and throw it back in the box. Each loop is a little bit shorter than the last. Chronofiends and Chronomotes all stay where they are, as do any special player tokens on the board, like Eulalia's Echo token or Omni's Memory token. All the skill points we've earned stick around, as well as the room tiles we've uncovered. The loop can't take away our knowledge. Then we try again. Thanks to our skill points sticking around, we'll be able to move through this maze faster than last time. And because we've already revealed a bunch of room tiles, we can be smarter about the path we take. Remember, we need to get those 3 items and bring them all to the engine room within the same loop in order to win. The 60-time hack attempt can be shared among players, but those players all have to be in that room. Our skills can discount that time, as well as any boosts we brought to the room with us. So good luck, play smart, and may the great Space Mall watch over you.